I remember messaging Evan. It's like 30 seconds in, already something wrong.
All right. We are here today to discuss the 2017 film, The Death of Stalin. And joining me are some comrades. I have Muerte, Companero, Cruz, Comrade Larry, and last but not least, the Jolly Leftist. Thank you all for joining.
Thank you for having us.
Of course.
Glad to be here.
Yes. And so, Jolly, again, I think this is the second or two out of the last 3 weeks I've done a movie which I hadn't seen until you recommended it. And the first time through, I thought it was very funny and I just sort of was taking notes. And then the second time, I just kind of sat back and enjoyed it. I don't know. What does everyone think, ignoring the fact that it has some historical inaccuracies?
Funny. It was done by the people that do the show Veep on HBO. So it's along that kind of humor. Funny. Yeah. Very good. The actors all did a great job.
I thought the performances were good. Like, I all of that was good. The humor was kind of dry to me, and I found myself I would chuckle a little bit, but there was never like any moments where I was like dying laughing or anything like that. I kind of forgot it was a comedy for a little while.
I thought it was pretty funny that Buscemi actually played Khrushchev.
That was funny.
That was pretty funny.
Well, I obviously think it's funny. I stay rolling at this film, albeit I am easily amused. I really love this movie. It's one of my favorites for obvious reasons. I am a USSR nerd. Mm-hmm. It's like Soviet fan fiction. I know it's laden with historical inaccuracies, and I get it. I get how annoying that is. However, I don't mind them. I don't think that it's supposed to be historically accurate. Like I said, Soviet fan fiction is how I see this film. They took the characters, they took the events to inspire this comedic rendition, and it's supposed to reflect like the vibe of the Tsar after Stalin died, the chaos and the what can we do? What should we do? No one knows what to do. No matter how hard they try to fix it, they're just stuck.
I think it was funny how they made it like out to be kind of like a monarchy where like everyone's fighting each other for like a grasp of power when like that was inaccurate as well. But I guess it added some comedic relief to it. I mean, it was pretty funny when they would be plotting in the forest together and Stalin's daughter comes and they just all start running towards her. That was pretty hilarious. And I think it's funny to think that it might have actually happened, but when it probably didn't. But it's pretty funny.
As much like even despite all like historical inaccuracies, I was impressed. Like stuff like Trotskyism and factionalism, like they would bring up very real concepts that they were talking about and discussing at the time. I found that interesting that they at the very least went to that length to get at least some kind of real information in there.
Yeah,
I appreciated that too. The vocabulary we all use.
Like I heard it. I was just
it's great to see it in a film, it's refreshing.
They clearly went off of Khrushchev's version of the events, right?
Right.
It was, I think because I watched I actually have it on like physical DVD, and I watched like the making of, and one of the things I liked is that they were talking about some of the sources they used, and they used like Khrushchev's diary, stuff like that.
I think what's cool about the movie too, just like you said that the director also made Veep, is that a lot of the dialogue was completely improvised. So there was obviously a script, but it actually that added to like the chaos element of like every scene just kind of being like a bunch of white men having some fun and poking at each other and giving each other shit. So
yeah,
I appreciate that too.
Oh, like when at the very beginning opening scene where Beria and Khrushchev were like chest bumping.
The Stalin wanted to watch cowboy movies.
Yeah.
Cowboy movies. Who's in my posse?
He likes doing that.
Well, what's also interesting too, and I thought I was talking to Jolly about this, is that character that Stalin looked least like he actually looked. And I almost feel like that was, I don't want to say it was intentional, but I feel like it was almost funnier that way, that he didn't really look like him.
Yeah.
We also had that. Remember, Evan, we were talking about his accent specifically. Was that you I was talking? The accent?
No, not me.
Oh, that must have been my boyfriend. Well, I was talking about how I don't like how he uses this sort of Cockney accent. I was like, why can't he just use a normal British accent? And he was like, because that's the working class accent.
Yeah, it was.
And I was like, oh,
yeah.
Here I am, ever so correct.
Yeah, that was in the making of. That was one of the big things that they wanted to use. And one of the things I appreciate that they didn't do right, because it's not a true Hollywood movie, it was a British part production, is that they didn't do the stupid Boris and Natasha accents. They actually just they showed the different types of accents by using different types of accents you would see in the British Isles, like how Zukov is like a Manchester fellow. Everyone had a different accent.
Yeah, I think it would have been cheesy if they had done sort of fake-ish Soviet accents. So
Americans do Russian accents. They can't.
No,
Yeah,
there's very few of them.
It's like the movie's already full of inaccuracies, and you don't need to add on fake accents.
Yeah,
it's got some accuracies though.
There's little accuracies throughout it.
He did die in 1953.
He did. Yeah. That is true.
and the thing about it too, I think that they did well, or to fit it in a movie like it is for any Hollywood movie, is they fit more a larger chunk of time that happened over a couple of years, over a couple of, a week, I think is the whole movie, right?
It was 3 months though, was it? Because it starts at his death, and then it ends at Beeria's trial. That was 3 months.
Right.
Beeria was killed in December, I believe, or was it early 54? Regardless,
Stalin died in March. I think Beria was executed. It was either June or December.
It was December.
March.
Okay,
Who said March? I feel that feels familiar. Was it March?
March is when Stalin died.
They arrested Beria, I think, in June, and he sat and waited on trial for months.
Yeah, he had a military tribunal. He had a trial.
Yeah,
it wasn't
it wasn't just them in a warehouse or a back room.
Yeah, it wasn't simultaneous.
Pedophile and shot him in the face.
Have you guys heard the story of Beria's trial and how he cried and fell to his knees like a little bee?
Yeah, they stuffed a sock in his mouth so he would shut up.
Oh my god! I didn't know that. I was trying to read up about it because I watching the movie. At the very least, I was I know some of the stuff here, but I don't know all of it. And it did make me want to go look more into it. So I'll give you props for at least getting me more interested in it.
Yeah, they don't give a lot of backstory on the Central Committee too much in the movie. Kind of just expect you to know.
Yeah, good luck. You know how.
No, I mean, I feel like the target audience of this movie was not people who actually knew what happened, right? It's people who want to kind of laugh, perhaps, at the Russians, the Soviet Union. I don't know.
I kind of hated how they had 30 piss jokes. I mean, it was kind of funny sometimes, but they throughout that whole entire scene, it was 50 jokes, I think, and they're like, "Oh, my suit." I mean, I giggled a little bit, but
when they're kneeling in.
They're kneeling into the pee.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
Everyone was disgusted by it. Although, big old puddle of urine, that is pretty realistic. I feel like everyone would actually kneel in it.
I feel like everyone would kneel. I feel like at least one of them would point out and be like, "Hey, watch out for the puddle of piss."
Oh yeah, probably.
Next to Dear Leader.
They were distracted.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in real life, the general turn of events is that they were dragging their feet getting in there entirely, and he was lying by himself. I don't think, and I think the first two to get there were Beria and Molotov, and neither of them were kneeling in piss to console
No.
Stalin. I don't.
No,
Not-
like it
not
said
even
that
close.
if they got a doctor to him sooner, he might have lived. But
Yeah.
The golden
But-
rule for strokes is 3 hours. He was well off.
Somehow I think Beria knew that.
Yeah, it's like
I don't know if that was common knowledge in that time period. I took an EMT course once, which is the only reason why I know that.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they knew that then.
Good question.
well, you'd think maybe they would have learned because then like Lenin died the same way.
Yeah, but I mean, medical science is medical science. It
That's true.
develops as it develops. Just because Lenin died of the same thing doesn't mean that the science was there.
That's true.
I mean, that was like a pretty like funny, comedic aspect that they used. Obviously, they're using Stalin's list heavily throughout the movie, but like at the joke about like that they put all the like they got rid of all of the doctors, and so like there was no doctors left that they could come, and they brought these like quack doctors in to come in.
The only doctors left, they're not good. They're not good doctors.
They're revisionists. The revisionists.
Well, the movie depicts the NKVD terror like as like a constant thing. Like they're constantly arresting people and constantly executing people was comedy. But yeah, but it wasn't an everyday occurrence. I think it was just like and once Stalin died, they're like Stalin's dead. And I forgot who was next in line to take up. And he was like I forget the character's name.
Malankov?
Yeah, Malankov. Yeah, and then he gets shot right after, and then the other soldiers just walk free, and like it just seems like overall like mess. But like I don't think they actually play out like that. It was really democratic actually. The Central Committee actually like just worked together, pretty much. But like yeah, they're just like running around with their chickens without their heads like a chicken.
Yeah, they played it off like it was a line of succession, like it was a fucking corporation or something.
They're just finding a new CEO.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the show Succession, like his whole bunch of his kids are stepping
But
in.
that's another thing that I know I don't want to dwell too much on the historical inaccuracies because I'm sure we'll get to it. But the NKVD was dissolved in 46. It was the MVD.
That's
also,
right.
Beria wasn't in charge of the NKVD at the time. He stepped down in 46.
Mm-hmm.
Also true.
Or was it 49? But regardless, he
think
was
it's
not head. But
I was
actually,
watching something.
they tip it off. They tip off to it in the show because they actually referred to him as Comrade Minister, and that was like his title at the time when he stepped down from the NKVD.
Yeah, because and Stalin wasn't general secretary either. He was the chairman of the Council of Ministries.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah.
They didn't bring back general secretary until Khrushchev 56, I think.
What was the office? The NKVD officer? Was it Pervik? No. Pervak? Was he the? There's like the scene. Well, I don't know. I know I'm like kind of jumping around, but one of my favorite scenes is he's talking to the officer, giving him the lowdown. He's like, and thinks he's gonna like arrest him. I think it was it Khrushchev?
I don't know. I have no idea what you're talking about.
There's the scene. It's the scene at the funeral.
Okay.
And they're up in like the hallway, and he's laying down like the his plan, and he's like, yeah, I guess it was Molotov. You're right.
When he's like, "You're on the list next," or whatever. Goodbye forever. Molotov?
No, it wasn't that scene.
Are you talking about when the general was talking to Khrushchev?
Yes, that's the scene.
The one when he's like, "Look at your fucking."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that might have been like the hardest thing I watched in the whole movie.
Zukov. He's like,
Zukov.
I'm gonna have to report this.
Just call him Jason Isaacs, bro.
Yeah.
Yes, I couldn't remember the actor's name. There you go.
No, that's a good scene. But do you guys want to talk about Molotov? I kind of want to talk about Molotov. I like him.
Yeah,
Molotov's
we
cool.
should.
Yeah,
He's a cool guy.
he's so cute.
I
Don't
think
you guys want to put him in your pocket? He loves Stalin so much. He's so loyal. He was his little protege. We worked together in Pravda. I love Molotov, and he was also like the Molotov Ribbentrop guy. So that's cool. I think they portrayed him well.
They portrayed him well, but he was like a happy-go-lucky guy in the movie. In real life, he was a very serious, somber dude.
Very serious guy.
Yeah, he seemed a little bit goofy in the movie.
Yeah,
They're
but like,
in the movie.
yeah, they all do.
Yeah.
It's like what would happen if you gave them all an edible before like they had to go to a
Right.
and then that's what happened.
Trotsky used to call Molotov mediocrity personified. What
Yeah.
a dick, right?
Wow.
That's so rude. Just because he
that-
wasn't as smart as everybody else.
Right.
He's tried his best. He did his best.
He tried, okay?
Tried. And
He's got a cocktail named after him. And what does Trotsky have named after him? Just a terrible
a faction.
AFC.
Fascism.
All I
That's
know is a
he's on
joke
the
that
KFC.
involves a pickaxe. That's all I know.
guy.
Frida
Yeah.
Kahlo. That's what
I
it is.
don't feel like they made they don't think Frida Kahlo. I don't think they made Molotov. I don't feel like they made Molotov as goofy though as Jeffrey Tambor as Gregory Malikov.
Oh yeah.
Like his character,
Yes, dude.
aside from Jeffrey
was too
Tambor
much.
just being so funny in general as an actor, he played that role brilliantly.
Are you wearing a corset?
His expressions are fire. Just like the way he doesn't even have to be speaking lines to be like it's so funny. Good actor.
When Vasily was demanding that he get a speech at the funeral, and then Khrushchev is trying to tell him, no, it's not such a good idea. And then Malenkov jumps in, no problem. And then they're like, oh, no, wait, hold on. Well, no, what I meant was no problem.
He just like doesn't know what's going on ever.
Yeah,
That's
he
like his
never knows.
focus. What?
I did think the speech for his son, Stalin's son, was pretty funny. Lithuanian cubs and Russian cubs.
My
And-
father
and
was
then-
a whole party
And then
man.
the planes all fly overhead.
Yes. Oh my God. But the planes in Vasily, you guys know about the anecdote with the planes in Vasily, his introduction scene when he's like, "What plane?" Do you guys know the anecdote,
Yeah.
like the historical stuff behind it?
No.
Larry?
Please tell me.
He,
Yeah,
Told me.
the plane that
Yeah,
that
you-
crashed with the
Hockey team.
Soviet hockey team.
yeah.
Oh.
And that happened actually like 4 years before the events of the movie, I think.
Early
Yeah.
50s,
Funny they included it though. I
late
thought it,
40s.
Plane went down.
he actually
Was-
insisted that they ride a plane that was not safe. He was in charge of the hockey team, and he insisted that they ride a plane that wasn't safe, and so they all died. And so he
Yeah.
was like, "Oh, my dad's not gonna like this," and so
Oh,
he decided to cover up the whole mistake and find new players, which weren't as good as the other players, which is why he's all screaming at them in the beginning. It's supposed to
my
be.
dad finds out.
He was so
I'm
scared.
in big trouble.
Yeah.
He never found out.
Nope.
I would
Stalin
imagine
was
being
funny.
grounded by Stalin is quite interesting. Give him some slack.
2 months in Siberia.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Minimum.
I'm just kidding.
I wouldn't put it past the Man of Steel, you know, if the kid really needed to learn a lesson.
Was Stalin's son actually like a loudmouth in the movie, like how he was portrayed? I don't know much about Stalin's son, to be honest.
He was a boisterous young man and he did have alcohol abuse problems.
Mm.
Yeah, I know after Stalin died, he like rapidly descended into like alcoholism. I think he was imprisoned
Yeah.
at one
After,
point.
yeah,
as well.
after the Cruz. Actually, there's some rumors that the Khrushchevites had him killed.
I wouldn't put it
I don't know
I wouldn't put it past him either.
Yeah, I don't know how historically accurate that is, but I've talked to a couple of Russian comrades who believe that. Like that's the story among some leftists in Russia today, even. But by all accounts, he was kind of a competent guy as a younger man. Vasily was, but he did not take his father's passing well.
Yeah. Especially with everything changing so rapidly afterwards.
I mean, it's gotta be hard.
Yeah,
I wouldn't take
Especially
Stalin dying pretty easy. I mean, I wasn't born yet, but I probably would have taken hard too.
Yeah,
That's my guy, you know.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It does things to you.
Well, and then they also have his daughter, who again I don't know that much. I don't know as much about her either, but I do know that she did not leave the Soviet Union. Sent her away, I believe in the movie they say to Where do they say they're going to send her to
Vienna.
in the movie?
Vienna.
Yeah, but I don't think she actually goes there until like much later in life.
She never went to Vienna.
Right, but left. Right.
And it was like
Yeah,
this scandal.
Yeah,
She went to India.
She eventually ended up in the
she went
States.
to America. She
Yeah,
ended
she
up
did
ended up in the
eventually.
States. In
She went to
78.
India in the 60s and then wound up in America in the 70s, and her daughter's still here.
okay.
Yeah, she was
Portland, wasn't she?
naturalized around then, 70 something.
I think her daughter lives in Portland,
Mhm.
dresses like Tank Girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, with like AKs, right? Or like pretty
Hates her
badass.
grandfather.
That's
She
badass.
hates Stalin.
She hates Stalin.
He hates Stalin.
Yeah.
Wait, who does?
His granddaughter.
Mm.
Oh,
She hates her grandfather. She hates everything about him.
I
Yeah.
see.
I would have been happy, though. That's my granddaddy right there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's
She never
like
even met him.
communist, and
She's she hates communists also, or she is a communist.
I think she's anti-communist.
Oh, she's anti. Okay,
Mhm.
well, she's born in the Imperial Corps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
And-
dead center.
by all accounts, he wasn't exactly the best father.
That's what
Yeah.
that's
Well,
when my
that-
wife asks
that's
about
good.
him. That's what I say. I'm just like, Stalin. I think he was a great leader. Probably not a great dad.
Right. Right.
That was probably not a great person.
It
to have
goes
as your
pretty
dad.
deep. Yeah, he's got a lot of randos sprinkled around Georgia and Azerbaijan.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's crazy. He does. He has like.
Steve says that
And, like two of them.
she's a Buddhist who runs an antique shop.
Okay.
In Portland. There you go.
I mean, he was a dashing young man at one point, so I mean, he got around.
Yeah.
This was
Mm.
before
I mean, you seen those young
the
pictures?
1917 revolution. Even like this was when he was in exile, back and forth, all day, every day. So I mean, what is there to do in exile? What the heck?
Dashing young bank robber on the run. Things
That's what
happen.
I'm saying. Like, I mean, and it was also like hello long ago. I mean,
Where's that movie?
contraceptives weren't available.
That's the
Right.
movie I want. I want Stalin bank robbery.
That would be badass.
Yeah.
And like maybe like around the time when he first picked up the name Stalin, like that could be part like a scene. I don't know. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
That
It was like 1906, I think, when he first got it.
it'd
he
be
was
cool to
writing.
make a biopic about Stalin. I'd watch the fuck out of that.
Mm-hmm.
They'll never do.
Well, there is
that.
the one movie about him, but I don't. It's not as good.
It
There's
won't
the
be
one there's the one from
Right.
HBO
so-
from 1993 from HBO. It was a terrible movie. I did a little TikTok on it a while ago.
I'm not
Robert
surprised.
Duvall plays Stalin. That's all you need
Oh
to know.
jeez.
Oh no!
Oh no.
He's got horrible prosthetics and everything.
Larry, what's it called?
Stalin.
Oh, okay.
Creative.
I hesitantly will watch this after this episode.
Definitely. The only place I've seen it is it's on YouTube. Nowhere else
At
has it.
YouTube?
So, yeah.
I mean, I don't think I've seen many things other than this with Stalin as the subject.
Oh
Like other
god.
than like Red Sun, the Superman one.
Right.
Nothing's
Yeah.
coming to my mind either.
I feel like it's one of those things where if you're a Hollywood producer, you're either going to make one that's like super anti-Stalin, and if you want to make a pro-Stalin, they're not going to make that.
What if we
No.
made a Stalin movie?
Yeah, I can help you make
I
a
would-
Stalin movie.
I would
I'll
love
gladly
to.
help you make a
You
Stalin.
want to play Stalin Muerte?
Yeah. Can I play young Stalin?
Yeah, you play young Stalin.
Yes. I may need to get. Yeah. I mean, like I may need to grow like a little bit more facial hair. The mustache. Actually, did he? He didn't really have.
So, when he was younger, he had the mustache, but he had like that stubble on the side.
Yeah, that's what like makes
And
him
the hair
more
and
attractive,
stuff.
man. It's that little beard right there, kind of 5 o'clock shadow.
The
Mhm.
scruff.
Yeah, get that scruff going.
Yeah, the scruff.
Yeah, we got to get it. We got to get rolling on a script for that.
Yeah, let's get rolling on a script.
Cruz
Yeah.
is
Yeah. I got
a
it.
great writer.
Cruz, it's on you, bro.
All right, I'm on it. Let me
Script
write
it up.
down. I got my little my script tablet here.
I can try some fundraising, but I may have to resort to Stalin tactics to do that.
Yeah, it's like we might have to recreate the movie we're about to make in order to make it.
So it's not a biopic so much as a
The guerrilla.
Dramatic reenactment.
reenactment. Yes.
Let's just
Mhm.
do an interpretive dance.
This is for educational purposes only, by the way.
Yes.
It's fine. Everything's fine.
I think it'd be hilarious to start it off with like a musical scene like Austin Powers. And it just ends with Stalin.
And then you can do like the Russian dance where it's like, you know.
Yes.
It's Rasputin shows up for some reason.
and subsequently is gulagged.
Yes.
Yeah.
They had to
Alternate
gulag him
history.
10 times before he finally got stuck in the gulag.
Yep.
This movie's writing itself.
Perfect.
And they don't.
I hope
really-
everyone listening is like just totally on board.
They're ready to donate. They
They
want
better be.
Yes. Well, in the movie, they don't really refer to the gulags much at all. They have like one scene where they're releasing some prisoners, where like it's kind of inferred that they're potentially like in Siberia or something, but
Yeah.
they didn't really.
They touch on the gulag. I mean,
Do
they have Polina, who was in the gulag, Molotov's wife, and
That's true.
and then they talk about the doctors being in the gulags.
Oh, yeah.
Svetlana's friend, lover.
Alexei, yeah, her
Yeah,
ex-boyfriend,
because she's trying to get him release. She's like,
Right.
work your magic.
exactly, because she misses him and stuff.
Yeah.
He's
that's
dead
true.
or something, right?
So no, they're and they definitely, because every purge scene is technically a reference to the gulag. Yeah, I know some people went straight to execution, but the vast majority of people picked up by the NKVD were sent to hard labor. Not to the
Yeah,
gulag.
for a determined amount of time.
And the gulag only had a death rate of 5% until Beria got his hands on it after Stalin died, and then 25%.
Yeah.
And more.
Jumped up, and then everyone was like, "Hey, could you not?"
Yeah, so, like these were like the English and the Chechens and the Tartars and whatnot. And
Well, they did mention that. Like they did discuss like how they were like. He's like, oh yeah, I was gonna release all those prisoners. I was gonna cut down it, but no,
Yeah,
we weren't. We weren't.
You liar.
After that, it's a good idea.
Yeah.
Well,
Also,
okay.
to touch on the piano player.
Maria.
Mm,
Everybody, what did everybody think of her? I really liked her. Although in real life, her note was very much sweeter.
I was gonna say how accurate was. I don't know anything about that particular.
Not at all.
person.
She was. I don't believe in. I think it was only one of her family members that got caught up in a purge. But in real life, her note read something like, "Thank you for the opportunity to play, Comrade Stalin, and I wish you would leave your atheism behind." And because she was a Orthodox Christian, and everybody on the Central Committee at that time was like, "Oh my God, we have to do something about her." And Stalin found it to be kind of sweet and hilarious. He laughed it off. So
Where did you read this?
I read that from
Because in Shostakovich's memoirs, it was like I thought it was debunked. That whole scene was debunked. That there was no notes. She didn't really care about Stalin. None of her family was ever gulagged. That's what I
that-
thought. So where did you read this? Because this is
Ooh,
new to
here
me.
we go. We need a source.
I read this. Ooh, hold on, I've got my notes.
Mine again is from Shostakovich. Shostakovich, the composer,
Mhm.
not the composer, the conductor.
Okay,
The person in the pajamas. Is that who you're talking about?
No, he wasn't in the movie. Just
Oh,
some guy
okay.
with the music scene. Just the memoirs.
Gotcha.
no, I found it. Where's my? Looking at my notes. Found it. It was an article I found through TV Tropes.
Damn.
And Maria Udina.
Yeah, that part checks out.
Yeah. It was a piano player, Maria Udina, and it said that the letter.
This bro said there is no letter.
A scandal.
We're doing real time fact checking here on the podcast.
Hmm.
This is how it works with communism. You just
Yeah.
like
Yeah, no,
someone
you always-
says
you always have
something
to check your
and then
sources.
everyone's like, okay, well, can you prove it?
Right.
And that's just kind of it.
Yeah.
And that's how it would have worked then too, you know.
Okay, yeah, they said that that was from her family's story. So
Family's full of it. I don't know.
maybe not.
Someone somewhere is full of it, but we'd have to do
Yeah.
more research to verify.
I would highly doubt she'd write a note,
Right.
like the one in the show, at least.
Yeah, even still, the family says that Stalin found it funny. So who knows?
Damn. I'm gonna have to go look and find this article that you read.
I'm surprised the family didn't say that Stalin killed like 20 of my cousins or something.
They killed 20 million of my cousins.
In the movie, she says that Stalin killed her dad and her brother. And my first thing that popped in my head, like, were they fascists? Probably.
Yeah. That was like, were they Nazis?
Yeah.
Were they in the Vlasov army?
What did they do?
That was well, getting into like that whole like plot of the movie, the opening of them needing to re-record the the symphony for it. I think it's just like
they thought the room was bugged. Like, did they really have that technology back then to bug a room? They did. Okay, that shows how much I know.
I found it interesting that they made it out like everyone was forced to be there. And it's like, okay, we're gonna clap, we're gonna do this, you're gonna like it, it's gonna be great, and no one's gonna die, no one's gonna get shot. Cool. And I feel like they probably weren't that scared.
I bet you they were probably honored to do it, but
just to be somewhere like that.
Right.
Yeah, they showed it. It was like a person like from the street, like holding like her basket of food, like the second group of people they brought in.
Someone's crocheting, like because they're bored.
In this dude's memoirs, the same memoirs of where the other factoid came from, he said that the whole replaying of the Concerta that never happened that way.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I believe it.
From the list. What he said might have happened, and it's still like considered a rumor, is that Stalin heard Yadina play on the radio, the live, and he did want it, but they only forced her to come in the middle of the night to go record.
Yeah.
They didn't force a whole audience. They just had her come in.
Yeah, why would they need a whole audience?
They wouldn't.
Other than the clapping.
And even that is a rumor. It's not officially corroborated. So.
Yeah.
Falls apart when you think about it.
I think it's worth the comedic value of doing it this way. It was very funny.
The way they did it is great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Down to her resentful note. I like the way they did it in the film.
One thing I did think was funny was after Stalin died and they were like, we're gonna temporarily pause all executions and all that. And they're in the lineup, and he's just like shooting people. And the guy's like, "Wait, no, some Stalin." And he's like, "Well, Stalin's dead. Long live Volkov!" And like shoots him in the face. And he's like, "No, stop shooting people."
Yeah, he said he got like a page on his beeper being like, "Oh, no more."
Yeah,
all the other people are like I guess
they just walk away.
and they portrayed it like they're just executing people night and day, like it's an assembly line. Which, I mean, if that were true, maybe that's how they get that 100 million number. It's just,
I mean, that's the only way.
Today, pop.
You're killing 20 million a year, or $1 million a year for 70 years.
Well, they needed them to
100 million.
Kill them all, right? They needed the labor.
Yeah.
It goes back to people thinking that gulags were extermination camps, like
oh my god,
concentration camps were.
Well, people don't even know what the word gulag even means. It's like the administration.
I was having a conversation with a friend who was talking about prison reform, and he was like, "Yeah, it'd be great if we had like, you make this like thing, you do labor, you learn a trade." You do your sentence there, and maybe you have a cell, and if you're not like a violent criminal, maybe there's like a house that you can have on the outside, and it would rehabilitate you, so when you get back into society you can have a job and all that. And I was like, dude, that's a gulag. He's like, what? No. Like, you just described a gulag. He's like, no, I'm not into that commie shit. I was like,
oh my god, sounds like he is.
I've got news for you. Yes, you are.
This is a classic example of avoid the trigger words.
Yes.
Slowly, comrade. Slowly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead. Let's keep talking.
I hope you
Call
keep
it a,
nudging him. Just keep nudging him.
Call them
Yeah, you have-
reform facilities.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was gonna say you need a nicer name, right, than Gulag.
Yeah, Gulag's been
Exactly.
demonized for sure.
Yeah.
Even though they were
Galag. It's a Galag.
the
It's a
Gallic.
Dollars for you.
Gulager.
I was also highly disappointed that my guy Clement Voroshilov was not even in the movie. One of Stalin's key guys, and he was nowhere to be seen. They didn't
Was he
even
Marshall?
cast him. Very disappointing.
He was a marshal, right?
So I wonder, like, I found that there was a graphic novel
Oh
called
yeah,
Death
that's
of
what
Stalin
Yeah.
that they pulled most of this from.
the
I wonder
theater.
if any of that was in there,
Mm.
and they just didn't put them in the movie.
I don't remember. I have read the graphic novel, but
Like
this
a
was back
French
when the movie
novel
came
or
out.
something.
J'ai pas les forcé.
Cool. I don't know what that means.
Je lis le livre. I've read.
No habla.
No habla.
So we haven't really talked about Steve Buscemi's performance as Khrushchev. So
Mm.
I
Okay.
thought he was brilliant in this movie, as Steve Buscemi usually is in most movies.
Yeah.
And I think the portrayal of Khrushchev, at least from like the limited, I haven't read a ton about him, but it seemed, obviously it's a comedic aspect of it, but I know what people thought about it.
I like how he's the only one with an American accent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny how like his wife kept track of like what Stalin liked and the jokes he liked, and he tells Beria, I think not Beria, I think it was Molotov
It was
to do this.
Malenkov.
Oh,
Malikov to do the same, and Malikov
Of
he got embarrassed at the beginning because they were talking about what was it, Polnikov?
Polnikov.
Yeah, and Stalin's
something.
like, you want to hear about Polnikov? And they were like, he was shitted. He was shitted. But like, I don't think Stalin was that mean to them. I mean, Stalin.
I've always felt like Stalin was, because he was described as like charismatic and all that, and I'm like he was probably just a very blunt person, and like when he would say something, or like if you said something he didn't like, he would just straight up tell you that he didn't like it.
Mm.
That's how I vote, like based on what I've read about him, like that's where he's like, no, fuck you.
Yeah. He's a Sagittarius. They're like that.
Yeah,
The
you know.
Sagittarius. What's a bit admirable? Like he's a little bit blunt, straight. I gotta be straightforward sometimes.
Yeah.
Old Bolsheviks.
Yeah.
I mean,
Two chats.
on where he was pussyfooting around.
Mm.
I mean, I could definitely see them like at a meal, talk shit, but like in a friendly kind of way.
Yeah.
You boys correct me if I'm wrong, but I mean, I do work at the shipyard and I observe the male species interact with each other. You guys are kind of mean to each other. That's kind of par for the course as far as
we shit on each other a lot.
It's kind of cool, to be quite honest. Sometimes I'm like, are you sure you guys are friends?
Oh yeah, it's my best friend.
Well, yeah, no, Stalin was a bro for sure.
Right.
Total bro.
And the Presidium was a bros club. Like, honest.
Absolutely.
Cigars and brandy. I mean, it was a total bros club.
Yeah.
I mean, can you imagine if like Stalin had like Twitter? He would just be like the ultimate shit talker. Like,
he would never have Twitter.
I think about that. Like, what kind of stuff would Stalin post?
Well, who would have more drama? Would it be Stalin or Lenin?
Probably Lenin.
Lenin by far would be the Twitter maniac.
He would utilize the social media.
Like half of State and Revolution is him shitting on Kautsky.
Kautsky and praising the Paris communes, and he just
half of his collected works are him shitting on somebody, and half of it's Kautsky.
I remember like when I first joined TikTok, there was like a video I saw of someone just like people like, hey, we have to be nicer to each other on the left. We can't call each other names. We need to unify. And then it was like Lenin in the corner calling Kautsky a fucking lib.
That's about right.
This has been our modus operandi since the dawn of leftism.
See you, lib.
So I think I was telling, I don't remember who I was talking this about, but I was looking through the Wikipedia page, not at like about the movie, but some of the hilarious reviews that some of the mainstream.
Oh, me and you started talking about.
Yes, that's right. Sorry. And so I thought I would quote one of them. I don't know if anyone read the actual Wikipedia part about this, but I think it's pretty funny. And especially given, so it came out in 2017 as like a context of, just after Trump was elected. And so I think that's what's in the mind of some people when they watch this.
Mm-hmm.
And it said, so the person from The Atlantic, Christopher Orr, says that it was precisely attuned to the current moment, a capricious, unpredictable leader basking in the cult of personality, the introduction of alternative facts, the swift party-wide swerves on subjects, as well as negotiating with paying off porn stars, blah, blah, blah. So you can see where that's going. And
I did see a lot of reviews that I guess I wasn't expecting, where they were like, this is, you can't joke about this subject matter. This is too dark. This is not something to be joked about. It's too serious. And
did they have the same feelings when they made that like North Korea movie with
oh, absolutely.
What's his name?
James
Seth
Franco.
Rogen, James Franco.
Yeah, did they have that same thought then, or is it just they don't want to?
It's just this.
Just
Now, if it was a movie about assassinating Stalin,
Yeah.
they were eating it up.
No one ever could, though.
Right.
So they couldn't make a movie about it.
Not even Tito could get him, and he couldn't get Tito.
Tried.
Yeah. Stop sending assassins.
Stop sending assassins, please.
I remember I did send Evan. I don't know if you actually read through it. I didn't get a chance to read through it, but I found like a review at the time or a discussion from the UK Marxist Leninist Party, like the Communist Party in Great Britain, talking about it. And they were like just shitting on all the bourgeois critics who were like praising it for factual accuracy and historical accuracy. And it's like such an eye-opening movie. Everyone should watch it type stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Are like Wall Street Journal readers watching this to like get their historical like
About the death of Stalin.
Mhm.
About this movie.
Yeah.
I'm just making sure.
Well, and there was actually a review by the Financial Times, which I wasn't aware of the reviews, but apparently they took the time out of their day to write one for this movie.
It's like specifically if it brings up someone like Joseph Stalin, or it's a movie centered around the Soviet Union, everyone has to come in there to give their 2 cents to say how awful the Soviet Union was, and therefore this movie is extremely important.
Yep.
Yeah.
And correct.
Especially
Gotta
bourgeois
drop the
propaganda rags like Financial Times.
Yeah.
That's true.
Financial
Meanwhile, the
Times
director's
is-
just like, I read a graphic novel and I thought it was cool, so I want to make a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. He was like, I don't care if it was historically accurate. I just like the book.
Right.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. That's another thing too. Is I was trying to look into the director's politics outside of just like what we know he's done, like Veep, and he was a part of the Liberal Democrat Party in the UK, which surprise. So it doesn't. He's writing this from the not just as like a Hollywood liberal, but like also as someone who like doesn't actually care. He's just doing it for like it's a movie. He's trying to make money.
Yeah, and that's all it was. He just wanted to make a silly, goofy movie, set it in Soviet Russia. That's all.
It made a little money. It made like 13 million in the box office, which versus its budget of 13 made 26 million. Which I'm actually surprised it made that much.
I'm surprised that actually did make that much. I honestly would have thought I would have went straight to DVD because there's haters, but I guess they wanted to premiere this in theaters nationwide just to laugh at the Soviet Union.
I think it's comedic genius, but I mean, I think it's fun to laugh at it, not at the Soviet Union, but with the Soviet Union.
Exactly.
Right. I agree.
I see it as a fan fiction. I don't think that it's malicious. I don't know if you guys, my account is comedy based.
Yeah.
I make fun of all the people I like, and I make fun of leftism, and I make fun of anarchists, and because teasing is a form of love.
Teasing is a form of camaraderie. That's why men always shit on each other, Jolly.
Aw,
Yeah.
That's true.
the epiphanies, Cruz.
See, I just
Well, I mean, I think that's how you have to look at the movie. You're not like, if you're taking it too seriously, like there's two sides, right? You can critique, as we've been doing, like the inaccuracies, but then you can also like laugh at the chaotic nature of this. You know, if you had been there around that time, I'm sure it would have been all kinds of.
oh yeah. There was one
crazy policy
inaccuracy
feelings.
that I did find personally annoying, and that was when all the people are marching towards the funeral because they want to get in to see it, and then the guards open fire.
Mm.
That never
Yeah,
happened.
that one I did not like. They invented an entire massacre.
Like
It's
people did
what?
die. Like from what I read, it was like a crush. Like people fell and got trampled.
Yeah.
because of how many
Yeah.
people were going?
That's
That
like
happened.
UC World concert.
Right, right.
That don't happen at a Jonas Brothers concert.
It happens every year on Black Friday.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Right.
I used to work in retail. Like that was constant.
Yeah, but also that was a big historical inaccuracy because the event that actually Beria was doing was in East Berlin. It was the student protests.
Yeah.
Those were the people he opened fire on.
Yeah, and that got him in a fuckload of trouble.
And and basically he was like, we should stop doing socialism in East Berlin because blah blah blah. And then they used his idea to be like revisionist tendencies, and that actually ended up clapping him.
Yep.
For the end.
I love that.
Me too.
Yeah,
Crocodile.
I want all executions to go that way. Just
That's right. You are sentenced to.
Well, didn't you know Stalin got rid of like a good 25 million people with just a snap of his finger?
it was great.
He's
Very
Thanos.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Thanos.
Thanos. He's just
I
Thanos
think
now.
Thanos a Stalin.
I
Confirmed.
mean, that movie wasn't about Stalin. I just assumed.
Oh yeah,
Didn't you know they were talking
Spoon
about
gave
the
it
The
USSR?
biopic. That's the biopic we're talking about.
that was like the one moment of the movie where I was like, all right, that's annoying. I found that annoying.
It was,
Yeah.
yeah.
The rest of it was goofy, but that one was particularly bad.
I mean, I think that was slid in there because he probably had some awareness, maybe, of the actual event. And this, they needed something to, I guess it's sort of like a way to blame him to get him, executed.
They had to get to that final scene.
Right. So I feel like that was the way to get there.
It works better for this movie as well because Khrushchev opened the trains. He's the one who was the catalyst to the mourners coming to the city in which Beria's NKVD opened fire. So, as a plot structure device, it is perfect for the film.
And when you are writing movies, you do have to take liberties and to make stuff work.
It worked well as a plot point. Let's say that.
Exactly. It's a well-written movie.
Yeah.
I love it. Yes.
I didn't think it was a laugh riot or anything, but it was. But it was a well-written movie.
I wish Buscemi would have convinced maybe Adam Sandler and the guys to do it. I think it would have been even more hilarious.
David
like
Spade
Stalin, so like Adam Sandler as Stalin would be pretty funny.
I don't know how I would react to that.
I think that's revisionism right there.
I'm surprised Adam didn't do it though.
Who would you guys actually want to cast as Stalin? Like, if you actually had to pick an actor to play him,
ooh,
who would you
That's
pick?
a good one.
I don't have an answer, by the way, so I don't
I-
have
the only answer I have for any like communist leader is Liam Neeson as Castro.
Oh,
because
man,
he looks
Liam
very
Neeson.
similar.
Daniel
the
Day-Lewis.
Lenin. You could. Yeah, he came out of retirement.
Yeah, he's kind
But
of
there's that Lenin mini series, but you couldn't. The same
Fall of
actor
Eagles?
couldn't. What's that?
The Fall of Eagles.
Right. Like they cast everyone in that movie beautifully, in that series beautifully.
Trotsky had a beautiful mullet in that series. Fall of Eagles. Trotsky was rocking that mullet. It was wonderful.
It's an inspiration to all of us.
He was rocking a lot of things on his head.
I feel like you could cast, like, if this movie came out like 35, 40 years, Mexico, you could have De Niro play Stalin. I don't know if you can do the accent.
Would be a
Just
good
'cause I
actor.
feel like he has the hair and everything. I don't know.
Well, Al
Not
Capone, I
current.
think, would be a killer Stalin.
Yeah.
He had the charisma, you know.
Yeah.
Or yeah,
Oh,
I could
Pacino?
yeah.
What about
Yeah.
Benedict Cumberbatch?
Doctor
Is he
Strange.
tall?
I'm trying to like go for looks now.
He's got the looks, but he's also like 6'4".
Mhm.
That's like basically Stalin's height in reverse. It's like coincidence. I'm just messing with Stalin.
Poor Stalin.
We love a short king. We love
He-
a short king.
Well, he was not
Sure.
nourished growing up. It's not his fault. He tried his best.
Oh damn! I found this thing. It's Radio Free Europe, but it was
Oh, jeez.
Hollywood actors who look like Soviet figures. But their list is broken because it starts like it only has 3 of them. Leonardo DiCaprio as Lenin, by the way, is who they chose.
Ooh.
Well,
I can't picture him bald.
I think actually he's wanted to do a Lenin movie for years, but Leo, yeah.
Interesting.
They've been talking about that since like 2013 or 14, but no one will make it because Leo wants to do it as Lenin being Lenin, not the Lenin that America knows as Lenin, if they know him at all.
We know
But
Well,
Leo's-
when I start my Soviet film company, I know who I'm casting in Lenin.
yes.
Little
There's
brains
a-
had Pedro Pascal.
Yeah, I could see that for
I
young
can see
Stalin.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah. I was trying to think too. I was actually Googling the same thing, like, oh, actors who look like Stalin. And I was like trying to picture, and I saw the Leonardo DiCaprio in there. Like, oh, interesting.
Yeah. No other actors are really coming to my mind.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know who would make a perfect Stalin.
No, I think De Niro in the 80s would have been perfect.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Better
Yeah, that's
than
like Raging Bull era.
Yeah.
You know.
yeah.
River Phoenix would have been good for
Ooh.
80s Stalin.
Kurt Russell.
Ugh.
Kurt
Kurt
Russell.
Nicolas
Russell
Cage,
Crowe.
he could do it.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
Nicolas
Who
Cage
else
can play
do we
anybody.
For even mentioning Nick Cage.
Didn't he play himself in the movie just recently?
Yeah.
With Pedro Pascal.
Yeah, with Pedro Pascal.
Short King
Nick Cage.
Stalin could reach the bank vaults, no problem. That's true. He said, "Scissors."
At the risk of sounding ridiculous, the only communist that Nick Cage could play is Mao because he would get way too into it.
Yeah.
He would go like full character actor. He would be wearing the tunic and everything. Like he would never change clothes.
He would never change clothes.
They said
He's a method actor.
I
I don't even
found
think he
this.
is a method actor. I just think for that role he would get too into it.
Yeah.
He's crazy.
I found they said Zayn Malik from former One Direction star as a young Joseph.
Oh my god!
Wait,
Wow.
actually, I'm not gonna lie.
Does he look like him?
There's a
look like
side by side here.
Like, but I
Can
know
you
what that
show it?
band is, and they don't have a very good rapport with the music world.
Well, he doesn't have to.
If-
He doesn't
if
have
I-
to sing people. He's got to rob a bank.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the reputation of the man that's going to be playing it.
Oh, I don't know about this.
Yeah, One Direction doesn't have a good reputation,
Oh.
Sounds about right.
at least in my music scenes. They don't. I don't know about y'all.
No, I don't
I
really
don't know.
like.
I don't know anything about them.
Yeah.
I
That's
know
probably the best
very little.
story. I'm kind of jealous.
Yeah.
I'm kind of a boomer, you know. Like when you start talking about anything that happened pop culture wise, music.
Listen
like,
here, Sonny. I don't know
Only
about
16
all
is
that One
like-
Direction.
I guess.
Back in my day, we had 2 directions.
When I was coming up, we had 98 degrees and we had the NSYNC. I don't know about One
98
Direction.
degrees. I know some of their songs.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
None are coming to my mind, but I know I've definitely heard at least one.
What did y'all think about that scene where Stalin wakes up on the bed like one last time, and he's like pointing at that painting. And they're all trying to figure out like what it is.
I was gonna meme that scene to represent us trying to interpret it as a promo. But I didn't. I did a montage.
He is the lamb, and it's the milk of socialism.
Is the milk the people?
The milk is the people.
He's saying that we, the children, have given him life.
The milk is Marxism.
Yeah, so funny.
And that was actually different. I'd always heard a story that he was on his deathbed and like he woke up and he like looked up at the sky and he like shook his fist in the air and then died. That was always the one I heard. I don't know how.
Oh, actually, I wrote this down when I was
like he shook his fist at God.
No, this is actually spicy. Where did I put it? So, like in Khrushchev's biography, he talks about when Stalin woke up and what Beria was doing. I can't find it, but I remember this. So the essence is that when Stalin had died, Beria was like hella happy and like dissing him and making fun of him and stuff. And then he woke up.
Oh shit!
And then he was all like, "Oh, thank God!" And he like kissed his hand. Like, cringe, dude. Like
that is cringe.
So this is kind of like Khrushchev was definitely there, and then Stalin actually dies, and then he goes right back to being a freaking dick.
Yeah, he was drunk as shit at the funeral. Was Beria.
Also, what a coward! You can only talk shit when the guy is dead.
What a baby back bitch.
Yeah.
What a baby back bitch.
You go back in time.
Yeah, if he had been on Twitter, he'd be like,
I'm going to meet Beria, and I'm just going to go, you baby back bitch. Nothing else. I'm not doing anything else in history. Just that.
Is that? What else is there?
Yeah, he of them because he's soft.
And you cut off. I couldn't hear you.
Did I cut off?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you zoomed out on.
Back now?
Yeah, you good.
Yeah, my network is shit apparently. I was just saying that like if Beria was like on the one reporting everyone's content because he's a baby.
He's the one he's flagging everyone for harmful rhetoric.
Yeah.
Hateful.
Violent extremism.
Well, he's like shooting people in the gulag.
Yes.
I don't know. Think if there are any characters or any people where any other scenes we've glossed over or didn't mention we want to.
I like that they all hid in the bathroom, like for that whole thing that they're just waiting in the bathroom with the button.
For the coup, yeah. I feel like we haven't talked enough about Zhukov and his.
He had like a whole...
Jason Isaacs was great.
He was superb. He always is, though.
He definitely sold like a head of Red Army type person.
He wasn't the head of the Red Army.
Not the head of the Red, but yeah, like
he was in the movie, but in real life, at the time, he wasn't.
Oh,
yeah, he was kind of on the outs.
Well, he was super important because he was the guy that did the defenses in a series of different battles. I can't remember exactly which battles he did offenses versus defensive, but he was super involved in like Stalingrad and Moscow and the Battle of Berlin and all these things. He's a war hero. And so unfortunately, because you know how our boy Stalin, he can be paranoid sometimes. It's kind of just like how he is. So he was kind of paranoid that Zhukov's glory and his war efforts were gonna kind of like push people in his favor. So he kind of was like, let's not have him as the head anymore. And he put him to a kind of a less significant role for the time being. And that's where he was. He was just like a less significant role at the time. But then once Khrushchev became
kind of went back to
he reinstated him as Red Army Command Generalissimo.
I did he actually have that scar? Because I've looked at some pictures. I don't think he had that.
I've never
seen that. Was just for effect.
It just looks cool.
It does.
Yeah,
scars look cool.
It did look very cool, but yeah, I love his.
He did not.
just when he just had great lines in the movie where he just knocks the shit out of Vasily and
Yeah.
not
That
today.
was
You're
hilarious.
disgrace to that uniform, and then all right, gents, I'm off to represent the entire Red Army at the buffet.
Yeah.
But it's funny because like they showed him as like this loud, boisterous drinker, and Zhukov was nothing like that. He was a very quiet guy, and he didn't drink.
I think most of them didn't drink for a lot, except on like special occasions.
I know
There was like that whole campaign of like not drinking.
Yeah, Stalin loved his drink, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, there's many stories of him and Churchill getting shit-faced at various meetings, and FDR just kind of sitting there.
FDR was the party pooper.
Yep,
of course he was.
Sounds about right.
Checks out.
It depends on what we're talking about. It's the story like FDR and Stalin actually got along pretty swimmingly. FDR just didn't drink. Like, everyone knows the story of when Stalin brings up, let's execute 50,000 Nazi commanders. And Churchill's like, leaves in a huff. He's like, what? Oh, they're just men who serve their country.
Oh, the bottle.
How dare you? Starves a bunch of people.
But FDR is like, oh, come on. I think we can manage and we can get by with killing 49,000.
That was pretty based.
Yeah.
It's like it's someone that can, like, even if you're ideologically different, you can still joke with each other.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Churchill was always a bastard. So
yeah,
out of the big three of the Allies, Churchill is my least favorite.
Well,
If you're going to get drunk with any of them, it's probably not going to be Churchill, is what I'm.
Yeah.
Churchill's pretty bad.
Very bad. He's
extremely bad.
He's unironically the monster that they painted Stalin as.
Exactly.
He is the villain.
He's worse because
he really is.
Like literally starved a bunch of people.
Yeah.
On
purpose.
Bengali famine.
And then points fingers at Holodomor.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How dare you starve those people? That was you. No.
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 And that was intentional. Holodomor was like a combination of like natural disaster, like natural famine, and then also just like a rushed NEP because they were just so excited to collectivize, but also Kulak sabotage. So it's just like they're not even comparable because one was a mistake and the other was intentional genocide.
Yeah.
But don't breed like rabbits anyway. Just let them go. Like Churchill is legitimately like the villain that they think Stalin is.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's the classic Western projection.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Accuse your enemy of that which you are guilty.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
The USSR kind of like kept their, their malevolency inside their own country. Like he was going into other people's borders and stealing their food and all that kind of stuff. Imperialism.
Yeah.
just walk into the imperialism.
That's how it works.
At least they weren't foisting themselves onto other people's cultures and stuff.
True.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What would y'all, if you were to give the movie a rating, what would you give it?
A 10.
A 10? It's a perfect movie for you.
I really like it.
I'd probably give it like a 7.5.
I think I'd go for a 6. Like I enjoyed it, but I wasn't like dying laughing. Like I don't know that I'd watch it again unless it was with a group of friends or something.
I watch it every day.
Every single day.
Every day.
Religiously.
But when are you going to watch Mystery Men then?
I'll add it in somehow.
I would give it also a 7 out of 10 for the humor. For my type of humor, it hit me like that's a 10 out of 10 on the laugh, and it's well made, and the actors are great. 10 out of 10 for those things, but it gets like a 2 out of 10 for just blatant anti-communist propaganda and historical.
Yeah.
So.
Not going to play it in a history class and say study.
Well, that's the thing. I bet there are teachers and professors who would play that in a history class.
100%.
Yeah, 100%. But
I know a few of my old history teachers absolutely would have had I been in school still.
yeah, I had a college professor play Kingdom of Heaven for our it was a medieval history course I was taking, and I'm like, okay, like you do you, like this thing is wildly inaccurate, and I'm only a 23-year-old kid, and I know that.
I had that too, but it was Troy.
Oh, that's even worse.
I haven't watched that in hell long. Isn't Orlando Bloom in that?
He is.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's like a 3-hour movie.
He plays in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, he's Legolas. And
Yeah,
he's,
Legolas.
He's
I like your question on this side.
He's great as Legolas. He's not so great as what's his name in Troy.
Paris.
Orlando Bloom to play Joseph Stalin.
I think Gladiator was a better movie.
Orlando Bloom play Joseph Stalin.
Oh, Gladiator is one of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah.
Really?
I love Gladiator.
Well, it's an action.
It's okay.
But I guess I didn't win. I give this movie a 7 out of 10. Similarly to your comments, Larry, I think it's funny in parts. Parts are like a little more dry, but I think it's one of the few movies about this topic that exists, and so
which that alone is nice.
Yeah.
Yes, for sure.
I
Aside
can
from that,
fan fiction, yay!
Glowing reviews from Jolly.
we're going to have to review. We're going to have to do the 1993 HBO Stalin for.
I'm happy to know it exists.
Podcast.
I'm gonna watch it right now.
Posterity purposes.
When I'm done with this, I'm gonna turn
Just
it on.
jumping right into that.
Well, I mean, I'll be an intermission. I'll like get a snack or something.
Yeah. Well, it's over 3 hours long. So.
Whoa.
All?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
That sounds pretty. Maybe I'll watch it tomorrow. I
That might be a tomorrow thing.
Mhm.
didn't realize it was a 3-hour endeavor.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I have to commit.
I'm gonna watch it in segments probably. No, I mean I'll like
I'll-
snooze halfway through.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not
See,
good.
I would propose to
Will I at
watch
least
the
laugh at it?
interview. Like because
Will you
it's
laugh at-
mentioned.
Yeah, you would laugh at it. It's actually, again, it's one of those things where the actors are all really good and professional. You know, it's Robert Duvall. He's a great actor.
Right.
But just, again, you have to get around the Boris and Natasha accents. And
I can. I'll probably
The-
laugh a little bit, to be honest.
it's really clear that the HBO one was also takes both Trotsky and Khrushchev's accounts of things, and mostly Trotsky. This was a movie clearly made by Trotskyists. The HBO Stalin, and because they make Trotsky out to be like king shit in the movie. It was hilarious.
Some
The West loves
Animal
Trotsky.
Farm type stuff. Oh man, I'm
Yeah.
looking at the picture of
I
Robert
noticed
Duvall.
Mexico loves Trotsky too, just because he went there.
Because he
Is
stopped
that
by.
He hung out, had a fling with Frida.
Yeah, and she was a Trotskyist, and then she had a fling with Trotsky, and then she wasn't a Trotskyist anymore. So.
she met the guy and she's like, "Oh, actually, Stalin's pretty cool."
Now she's a Stalinist.
Oh man.
It's
Anyone have any final thoughts on the movie? I know Jolly could be here for another hour telling us her thoughts, but
you guys want to hear more trivia? I'm just kidding.
I'm ready. I'm here. I'm listening. I got nothing to do. Go for
No, I'm totally kidding.
it.
I mean, I'm sure I could pull something out of my ass, but
Yeah, you got me for one more hour before I have to be at the dive bar to bounce for a minute.
are you really going to go to the dive bar and bounce for a minute?
Yeah. My friend owns a dive bar. She wants me to come up there and kind of.
Oh.
It's busy. She wants me to watch me work.
Playing?
What's that?
Is there going to be a band playing at the dive bar?
No, I don't know. Maybe.
Sometimes they have them.
I'm gonna guess no, because if that were the case, she would have already had me come up. I think it's just like a busy night,
Oh.
and sometimes that bar can get rowdy.
I see. So you're gonna call the Comrade muscle. I see.
Mhm.
I work for free, so I don't care.
The proletariat has arrived.
You work for free, pro bono bouncer.
Well, I work for beer.
There
Okay,
you
well
go.
that's a trade. That's a barter.
I was gonna say it's a barter system.
What kind of beer though?
Yeah, what kind of beer?
Oh, if it's free, I don't care.
That's anything that's free.
Yeah, if it's free, I don't care.
Very communist of you.
Very common.
Of course.
I was just kidding though. I'm not gonna tick off more trivia. I mean, I could, but I.
That's all good.
the longer it goes, I'm just waiting for more trivia.
We need a bonus trivia Jolly episode of just
Just me
bangers.
talking about the movie.
You should drop like a 20-minute YouTube video. I'm for it. I'd watch it.
I'll just monologue something and throw it on TikTok.
Drop it.
I'm just kidding. I don't want to do that.
And tell us exactly when in production they cut my boy Voroshilov out of the movie.
I will. I'll find the treatment myself.
It's like, here.
You're gonna track down the direct. What'd
Yep.
you do?
Wait, what? Whatever. No. Okay.
He was a good comrade. He deserved his spot. Plus, he had a beautiful smile. Come on.
I'm sorry that your favorite comrade.
Maybe they
was-
cut him out because
He
they
did-
couldn't recreate his beautiful smile. You ever think about that?
No,
They're like, you know what? He's too fucking
broke the
beautiful.
lens.
We don't have anyone. We're gonna get rid of him.
Probably what happened.
He's a lovely man.
That's fair. I'll accept that.
Okay, there we go. See, crisis averted.
Well done.
Cool. Well, anyone got anything else? Any final thoughts?
For the third time, no.
Third time, no. Third time's a charm. We
good.
did it.
We did it.
Cool movie, worth watching.
2 thumbs
All
up.
right. Well, again, Muerte, Companero, Cruz, Comrade Larry, and JollyLeftist. Thank you for sticking around about the death of Stalin. It's been great.
Yeah, thanks for having me anytime.
Yeah, it was
It
fun.
was fun.
Thanks
Of
again for
course.
having us.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I'll cut this, but if you can stick around for 30 seconds, it'll
Yeah, no,
get your
totally.
audio going, and
Yeah.
We're not live anymore, right?
I'm about to cut it.
Oh, shit.
Don't say